Welcome to Whole and Healthy Cooking with Chef Val. Hi, I'm Chef Valerie Wilson, and today I'm going to share with you my tofu Salisbury recipe. This is one of my favorite ways to make tofu. It's so flavorful. I think you're going to love it. This recipe is out of my year-round Healthy Holidays cookbook also. For those of you who are just tuned in, my name is Valerie Wilson, and my business name is MacroVal, and that's my website, macroval.com. I have been teaching healthy, whole food, vegan cooking classes for 28 years, and I'm the author of 7 cookbooks. So let's get cooking. All right, first thing we're going to need is some garlic for our tofu Salisbury. I have 4 cloves of garlic that I already took the skin off of, and I cut them up in relatively big chunks. They're like slices. First thing we're going to do is we're going to saute the garlic. I have my saute pan right here. I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of organic olive oil, heart healthy mono unsaturated good quality fat, and I'm going to put the 4 cloves of garlic right there in that oil. All right, I have it on a medium heat, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook that garlic until it starts to brown. Now, a lot of times in my cooking class, I always teach my students, don't cook your garlic for very long, right? This is the exception to the rule. In cooking, I tell people there's always an exception to the rule. This is the exception to the rule. In this particular recipe, the brown garlic goes on top of the tofu when it's done as like a garnish. It enhances and flavors the oil right now, and you have like garlic infused oil, which is really nice. Now, if you do not eat oil, if you're on an oil-free diet, saute the garlic in water. It's as simple as that. Meanwhile, I'm going to let that hang out. We're going to let it saute for just a minute, and then I'm going to stir it a little bit until it browns. Let's get the tofu part of it ready. So I already took 1 pound of firm, organic, fresh tofu. Fresh tofu means you'll find it in the refrigerated section, and it's packed in water. I took it out of the package and I cut it into 4 slabs, 4 equal rectangle size shapes, and I pressed it. I don't press my tofu for that many recipes, but this recipe you kind of need to. So what did I do? I put the tofu in between 2 plates, and I put bowls on top of it. I'll show you. See, I cut the tofu into 4 rectangle pieces, equal size. Put a plate on top of it, and just put a little bit of weight. You don't need a lot. There's like 3 little glass bowls there. It's going to give it some pressure, and it's going to squeeze that liquid out. All right. Just a little too much moisture for this particular recipe. I'm going to watch this. I'll catch the water that comes off so you can see how much it is. It's not much, but it's a little bit. See? So we just want to press some of that water. We don't need that. Now we need to flavor these slabs of tofu. And I'm going to do that by simply just shaking some sea salt over the top. That's it. One side, and then flip it over and season the other side. Now, I have the option in the recipe, in the cookbook, you could also use some pepper, or I like white pepper. You could season it with sea salt and white pepper. That's up to you. I'm just going to do sea salt today, but here's year-round healthy holiday dishes, and that's where the recipe is out of. Okay. I'll just pull this over here so I don't have to move the camera, but it's starting to brown, so I'm just going to gently kind of mix the garlic. All right, so it's just starting to cook. It's lightly sizzling. All right. So then get some flour. I'm going to use some organic oat flour so that it's gluten-free, and put it in a shallow bowl. And what you're going to do is you're going to dip one side of the tofu in the flour, flip it over, and dip the other side. I also like to just take my fingers and just kind of rub it in there like so. You want to completely cover the tofu with flour. You're like, so that it has like a coating on it. This is going to enhance the texture and the flavor of the end product. Look at that. Yum. All right. You could use any type of flour you want. I like oat flour. It's a neutral flavor. It's not a strong flavor, and it's gluten-free for those of you who have a gluten-free diet that you're living. You get flour on your fingers, so you need to get that off of there like so, okay? All right. Let's go back to the stove over here, and we can take a look at that garlic. Okay. I'm going to try and just flip the garlic over. You want it kind of browned on both sides. After the garlic gets cooked, there's a little bit of oil in that measuring cup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the garlic out of the saute pan and put it in a bowl and set it aside. Again, this is going to be put on the top of the tofu Salisbury after it's all completely done. All right, we're going to add it back is what we're going to do. All right, so here is the tofu that has the flour on it. You can see what that looks like. You don't have to do the edges, the sides, just the top and the bottom is fine. All right, we can pull that off there now. It looks like our garlic is kind of brown. Okay, that is what it looks like. All right, now we have all this deliciousness, garlic flavor in there. You're going to put the tofu in there like so. All right, just like that. You got 4 of them. And you want to have this on a medium heat. We're going on a medium heat. We're going to just cook it for a minute on one side, flip it over, and a minute on the other side. You're browning that flour on the tofu. Meanwhile, we're going to create the Salisbury sauce that's going to go over that. Okay, so I have already chopped up 1/2 of an onion. I've diced it, and I've put it in a large measuring cup so that I can measure my seasoning in there. I have 3 tablespoons of your naturally fermented tamari made from soybeans that are naturally fermented. This is the healthy version of soy sauce. Soy sauce is an American invention. It's full of MSG. It's not made with sea salt, and it's not naturally fermented. So we do not want soy sauce. We want tamari. 3 tablespoons. Now the recipe in the cookbook calls for 2 tablespoons of mirin, which is a brown rice cooking wine. Well, unfortunately, I'm out of mirin right now, so I'm going to use a substitution. Which is great that you're watching this video, because if you were making this recipe and you didn't have mirin, what would you do? 2 tablespoons of brown rice vinegar. Mirin is a sweet cooking wine, and so the flavor I'm looking for is something that's naturally sweet, and also mirin is a wine, so it's fermented. So we want something that's naturally sweet and naturally fermented, and brown rice vinegar fills both of those categories. All right, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of water, just in addition to the sauce that we already have there. Just 1 tablespoon. And it looks like a lot of onions. Well, it is a lot of onions, but we want that beautiful flavor of onions. I mean, a Salisbury gravy, from what I remember from many years ago, has an overall predominant onion flavor, which is awesome. All right, let's see here if we want to flip these over now. Like I said, it doesn't take long. You're just going to slightly brown them on one side. Yeah, just slightly brown on one side. Flip them over. You're going to give them a minute on that side now before you add the sauce. Now, when you add the sauce to this, you're going to just pour it over the whole thing, and the pan is hot. And this is liquid, so you're going to get a little bit of spraying going on, just so you know. It's not bad. Just letting you know. You're just going to get a little bit so that you know that. And so, yeah, a little bit of health benefits of this recipe. So it's made from organic tofu. Make sure when you're buying tofu that it is organic so that there's no risk of your soybeans genetically modified or having any type of chemicals sprayed on them. Tofu. It's a wonder food. It's a wonderful food, and it's a wonder food. High in protein. This is where we get our protein. It's a complete protein containing all 8 essential amino acids, right? The soybean is really good for feeding and nurturing your digestive system, your large intestines, and the one thing that soybeans are known for is having anti-cancer properties, okay? So the components that are in the soybean that makes up the tofu has different components in it that will help you combat cancer in your body. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy about the phytoestrogen, and many people don't understand that. Phytoestrogen comes from plants. It is not the estrogen that flows through your body. It is different. Phytoestrogen has the ability to balance your estrogen. So if your estrogen's too high, phytoestrogen is going to bring it down and balance it. If your estrogen is too low, phytoestrogen is going to bring your estrogen up and balance it. That's what phytoestrogen does, plant-based estrogen, and it's found in tofu. Okay, so it's been cooking for a minute, and we can just pick up a little corner of it and see. Yep, the bottom looks exactly the same as the top. All right, are you ready for the sizzle? We're going to get this sizzle going. Ready? I'm just going to pour it on there like so. I know you can hear that sizzle. Too bad you can't smell it because it smells wonderful. What I like to do is I like to have the tofu cook in the sauce, but I kind of push the onions down around so the onions are in the liquid. They're in the sauce because I want the onions to cook and all their natural sweetness is going to come out and make this gravy amazing. All right. And so you just keep cooking it. Now what happens is, I know it looks very liquidy right now, but the little bit of flour that we used on the tofu that got into the pan as we were cooking it is right now mixing with the tamari and the brown rice vinegar, and it's creating a thick like gravy. So we let this sit and cook for just another minute, and then I actually flip the tofu over and it cooks for another couple minutes, and you keep cooking it until this liquid in the pan, see this liquid, starts to thicken. That's what we want. We want it to start to thicken. All right. A little bit more about the health benefits of this dish is onions. Don't you love onions? I start almost every recipe with onions. I adore onions. Onions have anti-inflammatory properties. So inflammation would be things that get into your body that would cause joint pains like arthritis or muscle pains, or in fact, all dis-ease comes from some type of chronic inflammation. So if we can eat foods that have anti-inflammatory properties, it's a step in the right direction. Onions also have antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral properties. Okay. Onions have a high water content, so they help cleanse the body, which is awesome. I like onions mostly because of the amazing flavor. The flavor is it just really makes the dish. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna very gently turn the slab of tofu over as the sauce continues to cook. Okay, just gently turn it over like so. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna let it cook for a few more minutes. All right, and garlic, another component of this recipe, although the garlic is basically a little bit of garnish on the top. But garlic has been used in herbal medicine for thousands of years because of its antibacterial properties. If you want a natural antibiotic, you want garlic, right? Now, you can eat raw garlic to get the antibacterial properties, but eating raw garlic is kind of intense, and some people can't stand that flavor. If you do eat garlic like this or roasted garlic in the oven on a regular basis, you are getting the incredible medicinal properties of garlic. They're just in smaller quantities, so you'd have to eat even more on a regular basis. But garlic has that pungent flavor that, you know, when you eat it, it kind of gives you a bite in your mouth, and that's what makes garlic so amazingly delicious, right? Let's check the sauce. Yeah, it's very nice. All right, so if you get a chance, go to my website, macrovale.com, and check out all I have to offer there. I teach cooking classes on a regular basis. Some of the classes are in person, and I'm here in Michigan. And other classes are virtual, which means no matter where you live, you can attend a cooking class. And the best part about attending a cooking class is the community and all the beautiful people that we meet and the conversations that we have. It's a lot of fun. I am the author of 7 cookbooks now. I have 6 printed cookbooks and 1 e-cookbook that just came out while I'm making this video. It's Sensational Sublime Sea Vegetables. The cookbook is all about sea vegetables. So on the website, all my cookbooks are for sale. Also on the website is a recipe of the month, so make sure you check back every month to get that recipe. And on the website, if you sign up for my newsletter, you will be updated about all my upcoming cooking classes, all of the recipe of the month, when I write my blog, and also you'll be notified when I go live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can join in one of my live videos. All right. It looks like it's getting there. It's almost done. I want the sauce to be a little bit thicker. I actually made a batch before I started the video, and this is what it looks like. This is the finished product. What do you think? Tofu Salisbury. It's easier to show it to you with this one here that's a little bit cool, because that one's going to come out of the pan and it's going to be really, really hot, right? So this is what it looks like when it's done. You see I sprinkled the garlic on the top as garnish. How's that look? Yes, the sauce is starting to thicken. Oh, let's get a close-up here. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, the sauce is starting to thicken. The onions have become like soft. All right, I'm going to turn the heat off. Turn the heat off. Let me get a fork. I'll show you. I'll get a knife. I'm going to cut this in half. I want to show you what one of these pieces look like here. All right, so then when you go to serve it, you cut it open like so, right? Can you see? And you serve it, and it's got this beautiful Salisbury sauce on the top, and it's got the tofu in the middle. This is one of my favorite ways to serve and eat tofu. I love it. All right, we got a plate here. We're going to serve the new batch on. Okay. Just gently take it out of the pan like so. You can see one of the pieces of tofu broke, but that's okay. All right, there we go. All right, that's what the tofu looks like so far. And then you take all of that delicious Salisbury sauce and you put it over the top of the tofu pieces. You ready? Just getting it all here in the pan. And you serve it over the top. Put it over the top, like so. Make sure you get all of that deliciousness out of the pan, okay? Yum. Okay, take the toasted garlic, put it on the top. Kind of a garnish thing here. Okay. And this is what the new one looks like that we just did. How's that? Yum. All right. So that is my tofu Salisbury. And that recipe is in the year-round healthy holiday dishes cookbook. And there is a brown rice Salisbury with mushrooms that goes with this recipe. Serve them together. And you can look for that video also, brown rice Salisbury, and you can make these two recipes together. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you joining me as I make my the tofu Salisbury. This plate is hot, so I need to hold up the one that I made earlier so that my hand isn't on fire. So thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you get a chance to check out macroval.com, and I hope you make this recipe soon. For now, get in the kitchen and cook healthy.